All right, we are good? All right. Okay. So funny. It's been a while.
It has.
Hey, Maria.
Hey, Lisa.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Good, good. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you, my friend.
You know what that means?
Yes.
It's the Diversity Duo. We have an exciting guest today. Someone that we both know. I've known her for a long time. I used to work with her back in our data days together. And then I was happy to introduce you also so that the three of us knew each other. And we're gonna jump into some of that. We're going to talk a little bit about infrastructure today. But before that, let's introduce Rose Genele. Hey, Rose.
Hi, Rose.
Hi.
How are you?
It's so good to
I'm
see
good.
you.
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me. I'm very excited.
Yeah, this took a long time to get you here. So we're so happy you're here.
Can I ask a quick question, Rose, before we give you the floor? How is the weather in Canada? Because we're cooking here.
It's pretty warm. It's
Okay.
a little muggy. But it's hot.
It is hot. Yeah, now we've got big storms coming, so hopefully that's going to knock off this temperature. So Rose, you and I know each other from both of us working at Tealbook. And I'm going to tell a little story behind your back in front of you, if you don't mind, which is when I met Rose, she is an absolute guru in regards to Salesforce and infrastructure and recognizing how to move data in ways that is way beyond my brain capacity.
Oh.
And I used to kind of tap her on the shoulder from Boston to Toronto saying, hey, can you help me? And she was wonderful and helped. And that's why when I started my organization, Ellen Westgate, I recognized that this was the brain that I needed to kind of help put together my infrastructure and help me figure out how to work with a CRM and all the other wonderful things that happen when you own your own business. And then I was happy to introduce her to you also.
Yes, and we became fast friends. She's an amazing human being. Let's just put it that way. I love everything about Rose, and I'm so glad to have her as a friend, call her a friend.
So what we haven't done is let Rose talk and introduce herself. Bro, that's par for the course here.
God.
So we're going to shut up for a few minutes. Rose, tell us who you are, what your companies are. And I did purposely put an S at the end of that.
Yes.
Tell us everything we need to know about you.
Yeah, thanks. I'm Rose. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a responsible AI integration agency. This is a graduation from where we started as revenue operations, like Lisa mentioned, all of kind of the back end, the systems, the data that power your sales, your marketing, your customer success. We've folded that into what we call now workflow automation. And we've expanded to include AI literacy, governance and policy development, as well as machine learning development and a little bit of futures and foresight work. So I've really kind of spread my wings and pulled everything that I enjoy doing and that I feel like I have some expertise in into one practice. And so that's the opening door. And that's really my main focus these days. I used to have a nonprofit, the New Face of Inclusion, and I've, over the last little while decided that I really just want to focus my energy into one thing. And saying one thing is funny because of course there's 5 service categories, so it doesn't quite feel like one thing, but there's enough for me to chew on here. And so I've, put aside the Inclusion Leadership Summit for a little while, but always in the background spinning up fun and exciting things and trying to bring community together in real life.
Well, I think every time I see you on LinkedIn, thank you. Every time I see you on LinkedIn, you are speaking at some event and you're sharing your wisdom around AI. And I'm going to talk from the perspective of a sole proprietor who is technical enough and really under technical in ways that would help my company if I was. And I think one of the things that I'm thrilled to hear is that you're moving forward with AI and workplace automation or work automation, right? Because I think that's really the connector between small business and big business. is the things that you're offering to assist small business. Can you maybe talk a little bit about, for the listeners, like how do you think about reaching out to you? What are some of the things that are important for me to know before I reach out to you? Besides, I don't know how to do this. Right? Yeah, it's kind of like the what's
Yeah,
possible,
I
I
think
guess.
that's really where a lot of people come to us, though. I think that's the place that they're at. They're saying, I don't know a ton about, this specific thing, but I feel like I need to know more about it. I think this is something that I'm interested in, that I want to integrate into my business. Like, how do we get started? And what we usually do is around AI specifically, we usually start with education, a little bit of literacy, because while I could say a large majority of us have probably used some chat tools and have some familiarity in our personal lives. There's a lot that isn't really taught or isn't really talked about. And so we try to like kind of fill in those blind spots and give people confidence by providing a really like solid high level technical foundation in terms of understanding and knowledge around AI specifically. And then we start to move them into, the policy work or the automation. Other times, people say, I have this problem. I think that this is something that can be automated. Let's go ahead and jump into that right away. And we're happy to do that as well. So there's no a prerequisite to working with us.
And that's really cool because I think, again, as a sole proprietor, and we go to a lot of small business events, and there's a lot of discussion around AI. Sometimes I'm amazed by I didn't put it together that could have been automated,
Yes.
right? So I guess that's kind of, I don't know, for me that would be the moment I would pick up the phone, right? Like I have this thing that I do 16 times every single day manually. I don't want to do it manually anymore. And that's where I could seek your assistance and put that together.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to identify things that can be automated. Something that is repetitive that you do often, that kind of follows defined steps. So there's not a lot of variation. Maybe it's either this happens or that happens. And those are the perfect, types of processes or workflows that can be automated.
Rose, tell us a little bit for the audience your background and what inspired you to start your business.
Yeah, so my background, I studied law and business here at the Toronto Metropolitan University, and then I also did a certificate and thesis in ethics. And so I started working in a few law firms to feel that out, test that out. I didn't quite like it. I eventually moved into um, hydro and utilities. I also spent a little bit of time in fashion and manufacturing. Finally, finding my way back to tech, and I really liked that because it was. I joined a small early stage company, the one that Lisa mentioned, and there was a lot of room and flexibility to contribute, to do different things, to learn. And I really liked that as somebody who has a personality that is very curious and always wants to be learning something new. I found in larger orgs it was a little bit harder to have that flexibility. Um, and so the company that Lisa and I worked at together, it was a data machine learning supplier diversity company. And so even before Gen AI really burst onto the scene in 2022, we were actually working in machine learning, which I think is hilarious and really cool. And so as I learned more and started to get more experience under kind of the RevOps world that I come from. That's the work that I was doing there. I decided in 2021 that I was going to start my own business. I was going to start providing services. And then in 2022, decided to go full time on the business on my own, which was really scary. But I felt like it was something that I long wanted to do in terms of being an entrepreneur, and the opportunity presented itself, so I took the leap and I went ahead and went full time on the business. So we've been around for about 4 years now, and I think that something that I like to say about entrepreneurship is that it for me at least, it feels like a kind of like extreme personal development disguised as business. Like there's all this work you have to do in the
Yes.
background on yourself to like work on your mindset and your confidence and your resilience and your, all these things that maybe people don't see, but is so essential to being a sole practitioner and entrepreneur that's trying to build a business. And I just like to try to remember that every business that we see today started at some time, at some point, it was day one for them. Businesses don't appear with 50 years of experience out of nowhere. Like somebody had to start it at some point. And so it means that it's possible. And I'm excited to be one of those people.
And I think that's a really great point. And congratulations, 4 years.
Right.
Like that is
Yes.
not, and that is not a small undertaking, right? And
No,
and
it's not. No, it's not.
it also, I can't believe it's been 4 years.
Wow.
Holy moly. Wow. And I love your point about the shift from, you did start kind of, I'm RevOps. And then, and we've talked a lot about that over the time, right? With other entrepreneurs also. And you can't get stuck in who you are and think, this is who I am, damn it, and I'm holding to it. This is who you think, to your point, this is who I think I am today, but I need to be open. I need to be open for myself. I need to be open to my customers, to my subcontractors, to my mutual relationship.
You have
All
to
of
be
that.
adaptable.
You have to be adaptable.
All that to say, adaptable. Yeah. And what advice would you give to a small business owner that is afraid of AI, is afraid of actually letting go of, well, this is the way I used to do it, this is the way I do it? What advice will you give us, the rest of us that are not as competent in technology as you are?
Yeah, I would say that while AI is a technology that we have not seen before, we are familiar with new technologies. At some point, the internet was very new to us. It took us quite some time to adapt, but we did, and we realized how beneficial it's been to us. I think because, like I said, AI is a bit of a different technology, it can feel a bit daunting. But if you think of it as a tool, um, I think that that can help the mindset around being open to exploring it and to trying it. What's also important is this idea of taking that leap of faith, because as AI becomes more capable and more advanced and it proliferates our world more, the gap is going to widen between, you know, where you're going to have to get started in terms of competency and its capabilities. So you don't want that gap to widen too far. It's still a very great time to get started. It's a great time to start to explore and start to get your feet wet. Um, I don't like to feed into a narrative of, being left behind and that sort of thing. But I think it's important to note that some of the signals that we've seen in terms of legislation, bills that have been released just in the last couple of days, conversations from some of these tech CEOs and things that they have to say, there's a trend saying that this thing is going to stick around and it's going to be really important. And I think as a prudent business owner, it makes sense for you to take some time to take a look into it and to start to educate yourself on this. People that are far smarter than myself, or anyone that I know, are saying, pay attention to this thing. So I think that we can take that and try to make some decisions.
I like your connection back to when the internet came in, because I'm of that age. I remember that happening. I remember, that was we were so excited around, I'll keep it to procurement and supplier diversity, that we would be looking to process discovery over the internet. Like the idea that we'd be like, these companies were just kind of waiting for us. They were a few clicks away. I heard somebody yesterday at a symposium that Marie and I were at, and they were talking about using AI for data discovery. I don't know that and I'm not a naysayer of AI, and I don't believe that AI is going to do away with jobs. But because I think it'll, no, let me change that, because I want to go on record as I do believe that AI is going to take away jobs. It's going to shift the job market into a different skill set. So I just want to be clear on that one. But I don't see that AI yet is correct enough and defined enough. Like, I'm worried about people using AI to deliver back information. I don't know what kind of, I'm going to use Maria's line. Like, what say you on that? Like, should I be? And because I feel teachable in this, but it does make me nervous when people are using AI as the end all be all solver of data information.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I think that this is why literacy is so important because, the stakes are different. If you're using, for example, ChatGPT in your personal life to ask it a couple questions, and that's one thing. But using it in a business environment, in a business sense, and looking for facts from AI demonstrates that there's like a bit of a gap in fundamental knowledge around how LLMs actually work. There are tools that are created specifically to help people do research, and that's great. Even then, AI hallucinates. And so I don't really support the idea of using AI as a replacement for traditional internet search, because that's just not what it's designed to do. It's not designed to give you facts per se. It's generative, so it literally wants to take existing data and kind of remix it and generate something new, which is not exactly the same as pulling out facts or providing, factual information that's evidenced and that you can trace back to its origin. So even when you're using AI to, create reports or, develop summaries, it's going to hallucinate. It's going to throw a couple things in there that maybe are not true or hasn't come from, the source text that you've uploaded with your query. And so it's really important that people, like you said, it's not an end all be all, and actually really take the time to review the work that AI, passes back to them. I always say, think of AI like a junior associate. You're still going to check the work. So
Right.
Right.
I agree with
Right.
that.
But I think this was a great opportunity to kind of add some structure around when to pick up the phone and call the opening door and say, hey, can you help? I need some guidance, right? Is when and I'm going to put myself in this category as a sole proprietor, right? Who thinks, oh, I'm going to dip my toe into this. I think what makes me nervous is I don't want, I'm hesitant to believe that dipping our toe in something like this is going to have a positive outcome for those businesses, as opposed to reaching out and saying, hi, expert, I need a little assistance. This is what I'm looking to do, and I need a little education to support it. I think and I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant that I go on, but my rant is going to be, I appreciate when we go to symposiums and events and they want to teach us some things around AI. I'm hearing exactly the same message over and over and over again, as opposed to, I think, Rose, which is what I'm really excited about, both for you and for people hearing you, is your organization can exist to assist in taking that snippets that we're getting that we're ad nauseum, like really, like, everybody please stop telling us AI is coming. It's here. We got it,
Yeah.
right? But it's here. We get that. And I think what you're saying is, hey, come talk to me. I'm going to actually teach you how to use this thing, where everybody else is saying, it's coming. Like, right? So I'm excited for this. Do you have classes and such? Do you
No,
offer?
we're actually planning on spinning up some workshops for the fall winter kind of semester, so to speak. So far, we've been offering kind of custom workshops and bespoke on, tailored on request. But I think that there's something that I've identified as well in the last little bit, that there's really an opportunity to provide some guidance and some, literacy and education around AI to people in a very kind of open and public way. There are a lot of people that will, like you said, encourage you to use AI, or let you know that it's coming, and that create this kind of like hype or fear around it. And I just kind of want
Yes.
to bring us back to ground level. I want to really equip people with the tools to be able to make decisions about AI for themselves. Just because this person is using it or that business is using it in this way doesn't mean that you have to as well.
Or that it'll
And
work
I
that
think you can
way.
only make those
Right.
decisions when you have more information.
Okay, I'm gonna go on the record that you and I are signing up for this.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. Just
Okay.
let us know when.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
Awesome.
no, because again, and it's not just AI is coming, it's AI is coming.
AI
There's a
is
doom.
here and it's here
Yeah.
to stay and to grow. So
It's the doom that I love.
I always tell people, you know what, you really have to learn at least the very basic, because it could be a tool to help you with your business. My question to you was, right, and this is based on what I have used AI so far. For example, I used to do a workshop with a PowerPoint presentation in Spanish, right? Because this is for the Latino business owners here in Massachusetts, and it was 30 slides. So I put the entire presentation through, AI, and said, can you make this succinct and to the point and make it very clear, keeping it in Spanish, right? I ended up with 15 slides. And I'm like, I am loving this. And everybody loved it because, yeah, there were 15 slides, but it took me the entire hour to explain each and every one of those AIs. And that was my question. What advice should I be giving to some of my small businesses? Most of them are startup, about AI.
To call Rose.
Yeah. I mean, well,
Rose,
yeah.
this is her number.
I'm
This
sorry.
is her email.
And to I think maybe try to put a little bit of time aside each week to just experiment and play around with it. I think that there's no need to be fearful of it, and that the only way that you're going to become more proficient is practice. And so, you know, try to be intentional about using it and trying to use it. And if you need help, or if you're not sure, then definitely reach out to an expert, or somebody who has some more knowledge than you. I think that we don't know the things that we don't know. So
Right, right.
yeah,
But
that
AI
that's
does.
always a
I'm just
great
joking.
reason to
I'm
to
just
reach out and get some support.
right. No, that's a great suggestion. I want to be mindful of your time because I know you have a meeting coming up. Rose, are there as we're coming up to the last few minutes, is there anything that we didn't ask? I feel like we harped on your AI and didn't kind of talk about the rest of your business,
Right.
which is really interesting. Anything that you want to talk about that we didn't ask you?
I think I would love to just highlight that I do a lot of speaking. You like you mentioned that you see me quite a bit on LinkedIn. I do quite a bit of speaking around AI ethics, specifically AI ethics, responsible AI. And what I'm moving into now is really trying to create conversation around human-centered AI specifically. And so creating AI that centers on our human values, that focuses on our well-being, on our flourishing, and this idea of AI as augmentation and not as replacement. And so I like to, there are these key principles of AI ethics, fairness, accountability, transparency, and then responsible AI being kind of the practical implementation of those principles. And so I educate varying audiences on ethics around AI, some conversations around sustainability, understanding how we can evaluate and observe AI so that we understand where decisions have come from and we know when to push back, we know when to override those decisions. And so that's something that I also do that I really enjoy. And it means that I can kind of bring a different voice to the conversations around AI where we're moving past, okay, how do I use ChatGPT? And we're asking questions like, when should I be using AI? Should I use AI? What things do I need to be mindful of? Because as AI continues to grow and we continue to see in all areas of our life, it is not just kind of a technology, it's kind of this like social reckoning as well. And there's so many implications for something like this. And so there's other questions and other conversations that we need to be having in addition to kind of a technical conversation. And so I am often, a part of those conversations, and I try to hold space for those conversations as well.
So Maria's grandson is our producer, and he's the one who kind of does the camera work and the AV work. He's in Japan right now, but he's on his way back. And the reason I'm talking about him right now is he has forbid us to use the word amazing. Mm-hmm. But when you just finished there, I just want to say, I think that's amazing. And I think being two people that have watched you personally on your journey from where you started your organization to where it is now, I believe you are exactly where you are supposed to be.
Amen.
I appreciate the space that you are taking in this world to help other people to build this out, because you are one smart cookie, if you don't mind me saying so. And no, and I think there's a lot of small businesses out there that would really do well by using your services. I really do hope that you put together some trainings. Maria and I both are going to be signing up for them. We'll then hopefully talk about them a little bit so that we can stop the doom and gloom around AI.
Yes.
Rose, the opening door, Toronto, is so good to see you. I've missed you. I've missed our time together.
Yes.
Let's not let that much time go by before it happens again. I know that you have to go. Maria, do you want to say goodbye and sign us off?
Yes. Well, Rose, it has been a pleasure having you here talking to us. It has been a while. Let's not allow that to happen again. I hope that I hope that our audience enjoyed this presentation. She's an amazing, amazing. Oh my God! Did I say amazing?
Twice. You didn't just say it once. You said it twice. Amazing, amazing. You're
Elijah's
welcome,
gonna kill
Elijah.
us. Anyways, reach out to Rose Genele on LinkedIn. She's there. Read her posts.
They're really good.
Read her posts. They are absolutely chock full of information.
Yeah.
And with that, I am going to read to you. Not read to you. I'm not going to read to you. Rose, we go through this every
week.
Freaking week. And with that, let's continue to amplify diverse voices and foster meaningful dialogues. Until then, this is Maria. Thank you for listening.
And I'm Lisa. We're the Diversity Duo. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Oh my God.